Hello, folks. I'm Scott Montgomery, and I'm coming at you today from the brand new UR1 radio and internet network. Formerly, I was host of Catholic Talk at Catholic University, WCOA Radio, and now I'm bringing this here to the internet. Anyway, for the first of our talks, we're going to discuss the presidential election. Now, let me start out by saying this, that I always like to quote in the Catechism. And the Catechism says this: the common good consists of three essential elements. Number one, you have to have the respect for and the promotion of the rights of each individual person. That has to be the number one goal of all of us Catholics. Second of all, we have to respect and promote the prosperity of each person. And finally, the development of the spiritual and temporal good for society and its members. And the goal is to promote peace and harmony among all people. Now, this presidential election, we do have, we think here at UR1, a clear path to selecting the promise for the future. We have one person who we feel claims to want to bring the American or Catholic goals in this case, which are similar to the American dream. We find that we have one candidate who does sponsor this and one candidate who claims to sponsor this. Let's examine this and let's go over the details. Now, in these videos, I want to make it clear that we're just going over issues, going over the issues that the candidates stand for. We're not going to get into character assassination. Now, we do have other pundits on this network who engage in that from time to time, but that's not what I'm about. I want to discuss the issues. I want to look at issues from a Catholic perspective and see which candidate fits into those issues. So let's get started. I'm going to start with Barack Obama first, and then I'm going to go into John McCain. Later in other videos, when I talk about campaign finance or healthcare, or a video that's already posted about foreign affairs and foreign policy, I'm going to reverse that order a little bit. I'm going to go back and forth. But anyway, I digress. Let me start with Obama's tax plan. Senator Obama, his main proposal is that he wants to give a tax cut for all people. And I know the numbers have been changing lately in the press, or even with the candidates, but let's just take the $250,000 level, because I'm not concerned about 150, 250, whatever their definition is rich. I'm not interested in semantics. I want to discuss issues. All right, $250,000. 95% of all Americans make less than that, according to the Obama camp. We found that is in fact true. Well, Senator Obama's right about that. And he will give a tax cut for people making less than $250,000 on their income, yearly income. And this is a clear distinction, that he has only said that he would do it on their income. Folks, that's not much of a tax cut, because most of those people pay anywhere between 2 and 5% of the total income tax of this country. So individually, that's not much of an income tax as far as revenue gained back from the federal government. Now, he says, well, he'll make that up because the 5% of the rich will pay a heavier share. Well, that's not going to generate a whole lot of revenue for the federal government. But it's what Obama has also promised that alarms me. And he made this comment in retrospect to the rich. He said he wants to go after their investments, wants to go after, in talking about some of the CEOs that make these huge salaries. He wants to go after their nest egg. Not only that, he wants to go after the corporation as well. And find that a little bit troubling, and I'm going to go over some scenarios as to what he's saying and how that affects all Americans, as a matter of fact. But first of all, I want to tell you that there are two groups that have a stake in this election. There's what I call a Group A and a Group B. I'm going to talk about Group A right now. Group A consists of the middle class, which would be teachers, firefighters, the police, your military, your average American worker. It also includes your small business and medium-sized business, independent people like your farmers, and, construction, I guess I would put in that category as well. But you also have corporate employees. You have employees of large corporations, whether they be insurance companies, banks, investment companies, and we're going to talk a little bit about oil companies, but and a variety of other businesses like that. That's Group A. We'll talk about Group B in the next video, but right now we'll focus on Group A. Now remember, I was saying that the Obama plan talks about income, but it forgets to mention net worth. Now, net worth is something that goes into what Senator Obama was saying about the impetus on these CEOs. But to get that passed, to get that done, he would actually have to come after the net worth of all people. And remember, his benchmark is $250,000. So therefore, if we include everyone with a net worth of over $250,000, that's actually people who have 401ks, who have investment portfolios, who own a home, who have combined family income for married people, or anybody cohabitating actually, that have families. Now, both candidates have actually said that they want to sign on to the child credit that President Bush initiated. However, what about the rest of the income? What about this asset allocation that I'm talking about? And what about small businesses? Now, the claim is that most small businesses don't make $250,000. The truth is that employees of those businesses do not, but the business itself does. And I'm not talking about large corporations. I'm talking about small businesses or medium-sized businesses. And we'll go over those in a minute. But when you add up all this net worth, actually it's 73% of all Americans that fall into that category of assets making them rich. And that's where his tax plan goes into play. That actually can collect enough taxes to basically enrich the government and take care of the deficit. The problem is, at what cost? I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to use the example, I'm going to take the worst case example, ExxonMobil. Here's a pie chart that I came up with. I'll put it over my face here. But I don't know if you could see the bottom part here. This is 58% of ExxonMobil's net profits from last year. You can see that. And the top part here is the remaining assets from last year. Now, this is an ugly chart, but I'll read it for you. Last year, ExxonMobil made $41 billion in profits. And you might think, oh, Lee, they're really soaking it to us here. Well, I went back and I studied where the money went from ExxonMobil, because I was alarmed at this too. I don't think that's fair. Too few people are getting rewarded in this day and age, and many of us are taking a hit, and I don't like that. And I actually started on this road long before I wanted to support either presidential candidate, because I didn't think either one of them were very good. And I wanted to see if one or the other could convince me that their plan was good. Well, when I looked at the ExxonMobil